Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I want to start reviewing the newest season of Power Rangers Dino Fury, which aired not too long ago. Episode 1, we're going to just go right into it, called Destination Dinohenge. This is the second Power Rangers series from Hasbro and the third season overall. Starts off with Amelia showing up at Buzz Blast where she works, talking to her boss, wanting to go to the woods to investigate these statues that are in the middle of the forest called Dinohenge. She goes over there with some sort of like a cannon, and she thinks she sees something, and she shoots the cannon and it fires out a net, and she actually catches Ollie. We find out that Ollie's there because he's there with his mom, who is researching this Dinohenge statues. So they go there together. She has some sort of a drone that she uses to kind of like scan the area, and she thinks that there's a chamber underneath the ground. And then some sort of a park ranger, shows up and tells them that they're in an unauthorized area and they gotta leave. So the two of them, Ollie and Amelia, they're like packing all this equipment, and all of a sudden they see this like purple creature show up looking for some sort of energy, and then he like blasts a hole in the ground right next to these statues that's like perfect with stairs and everything. And they follow him down, and he is looking for some energy source, and he finds this like chamber with a red ranger, and there's this dinosaur kind of like creature that we find out is called Solon. And then he reveals himself to be the Void Knight, and he attacks this dinosaur creature. And then Ollie, who sees these sabers in the background in the chamber, he takes one of the sabers and tries to help her. And then Amelia also joins in. She shoots that cannon and catches the Void Knight in the net and tries to sort of electrocute him. And then Solon takes this key and throws it towards Ollie so that he can insert it into the saber and use these sort of statues that are inside the chamber called henchmen, which are supposed to guard the chamber. But the Void Knight kind of like gets out of the net, he grabs it, he puts it in his saber and activates it, and the henchmen fight for him. And he's like looking for this energy source still, and meanwhile Ollie and Amelia are trying to help out, and she also grabs one of those sabers. And then during the battle they get this like rush of energy going through their body, and then all of a sudden on their wrists there appear these morphers. And Solon sees this, and she grabs like the blue and the pink ranger keys and throws it towards them. Really? Like, you just threw a key and the bad guy caught it. Why would you throw keys again? You gotta be more careful. But they do catch it this time. They insert it into the morphers, turn into the Power Rangers, and then a short while later, Solon actually is able to sort of free the Red Ranger out of this stasis pod or whatever he's been in, and he jumps out, and big fight breaks out. And meanwhile the Void Knight sees this chest with all of these like pink gooey sort of like egg looking things, which are revealed to be the Sporix beasts, and they all kind of like escape into the sky. He tries to chase them out, and only one of them sort of drops and hatches into a monster. And meanwhile the Power Rangers take out the henchmen, and the Red Ranger reveals himself to be Zaito. He says that he is from the planet Ravcon, and that over 65 million years ago his planet got attacked by these Sporix beasts. They took over the planet, and then they moved on to Earth, and then these knights that guarded the planet followed them to Earth and fought alongside the dinosaurs, and the Sporix beasts grew stronger and grew giant, and that's when the legendary Morphing Masters showed up. This is the first time we hear of them since like the first season of Power Rangers, and they look different back then. And they basically use the power of the morphing grid to give these knights sort of Power Rangers energy infused through the dinosaurs, creating the Dino Fury Power Rangers, and giving them Zords obviously so that they can fight these giant monsters. What's unique about this is that in this flashback we actually see 6 Power Rangers. So we see the 6th Ranger already in the first episode, and we see a lot of Zords in the background. I don't know if that's all of them, but there's sure more than 6 Zords in the background, and we see them with all sorts of different kind of gear and power-ups. And during that scene with the Morphing Masters, the Green Ranger is actually seen having a skirt, and we know that the Green Ranger will be a female, but will not have a skirt in the actual show. And then at the end of the episode, Zaito basically says that, you know, we're Power Rangers now, so we gotta start training because, you know, you gotta start saving the Earth, because these things are gonna hatch as if they had no life of their own. But they accept, I guess. They kind of seem to be excited to be Power Rangers, and even though it seems like they were kind of like busy, they were in the middle of trying to pack all this equipment together because his mom needed them to leave. So like, isn't anybody looking for them? And don't they see that there's like a huge ground, like hole in the ground next to these statues? But yeah. And you know, I feel like in the past, we've had like an alien ranger, Andros from Power Rangers in Space, and I think he was kind of like very reluctant of anybody helping him, even though he had like, I think, the other morphers. And in this case, Zaito was just like, oh yeah, you know, great, you guys just were, you know, in this chamber, you morphed, you know, you're Power Rangers now. So we'll see where this goes. I was actually, you know, I liked the first episode. I think something that would be nice is if Power Rangers actually had like some longer episodes, because they're usually all in this 30-minute time slot, and I feel like some stories need more than that. Perhaps the first episode should be maybe a 1 hour time slot, so that you can just, you know, build more depth for the characters and, you know, a better background story. Not that the background story wasn't good, it's just that it's kind of rushed. You know, you try to explain what happened in a minute or two, where I feel like it would help if it had more time. But I'm looking forward to the season. It's a good start, and I'm looking forward to see where this goes.